What's up, everybody? It's AJ with etrailer.com. Today we're going to check out the Park City from Swagman. It's a 6-bike stand that you can put in your garage to help you organize your bikes. The Park City is really going to help you get dedicated space for your bikes. We kind of set up our area today like your garage at home. We have a little bit more space than some people, but we got a camper in here, toolboxes, some generators. You know, the bikes took up a lot of space before we did this, but now that we got it set up, you know exactly where to put your bikes in the garage. There's no guessing. There's no leaning against the wall where anytime you brush up against it, it could fall over, maybe hit your car or your camper, or leaning against the toolbox where it doesn't go. Then you need to get to the toolbox. Got to move the bike. Your bikes now belong here and take up far less space, but they're always ready to go. You can just slide them out and go ride and bring them back. It's this easy. And not only that, we have more space for other stuff in our garage, like our trash can. Now the trash can can come inside and go in the corner. We didn't have that kind of space before. This is the garage before we put the bike stand in here. You can see I have bikes all along the wall, taking up a bunch of extra space that we could be used for something else. I mean, we could have been hanging lawn chairs or just using the wall space too. A kayak or something can get up and in there, but now this is kind of in the way, so when you go to do that, you can risk knocking over the bike. This one's got a kickstand, so this might be the last one to fall, but any of these other ones, I could be reaching up here and hit that, and then, oh, it's going to fall, and then it could cause all the other ones to fall. It's just it's a problem. It could fall into your cars that you have next to you. That's not good. With this kid's bike over here, it's just leaned up against one of the generators, which could cause damage to the bike, or, you know, if it's not your generator, if you got it leaned up against your car or something like that, that's not good either. It's just better to have that bike stand, because then that's the dedicated space for your bikes, much like a toolbox is the dedicated space for your tools. This might be something else you're used to seeing, the bikes just stacked up against each other. Yeah, we saved that wall space over there, but over here, we're taking up so much more space, and if I want to get to my road bike, I have to move all these other bikes out of the way. That's just a hassle. You can simplify it by just using the bike stand, then everybody's got somewhere to park. With our bike stand set up, it's much more organized in the garage. More room all around, there's not stuff laying against the wall. You got each bike in its proper place. Not only that, it's nice and sturdy. I can bump into the bike. They're not going to fall over. They might move a little bit, but I don't have to worry about constantly if I bump into a bike, it's going to fall over on the ground or tip all the other ones over and damage anything in our garage. Plus, with this up here, there is an actual place for the bike. So if your kids leave the bikes in the middle of the garage, there's less of an excuse to do that now because they have a home to go to. Taking a closer look, I just wanted to show you all the different tire sizes and how they work in this bike stand. You can see this is a road bike, a thinner tire, but it's okay. It's still in there. Sure, it does side-to-side movement, but it's not trying to roll back on us. It's not going anywhere. That's fine. Same with this road bike tire. We have a kid's bike over here. This one probably moves the most, but again, it doesn't try and roll back. So it's always going to be nice and secure in there. Next to the kid's bike one, you'll see we actually fit a fat tire bike in here in these bigger gaps. So that's pretty handy. You know, most bike stands aren't built with those in mind, or weren't back then. Now, that one's not going anywhere either. And last, you can see the mountain bike tire in the back. It fills up most of the gap, so it barely moves at all, but there's no worry about it moving backwards on us or anything. And just in case you wanted exact measurements, looks like this gap here will be about 2 1/4, and the bigger gap will come out to 5 1/2. So that's just what you're going to be working with. If the garage setup isn't what you're thinking about using it for, it also can go outside. It's got a black powder coat finish with a zinc finish on it too, so the elements aren't going to bother it when you leave it out there. Now I will say, when you go to put it outside, I'd probably go ahead and get a U-bolt and some concrete anchors. You can just put the U-bolt over here, the bracket on top, run the anchors down into the concrete. That way this is staying in place. This bike stand is not the only way to get organized with your bikes. There are hooks that you could drill into the wall. You could walk your bike up there and hang it from the front wheel. They also offer bike arms that come out here, and it'd be 2 arms that you hang your bike up there by the frame. Now, if you have carbon fiber bikes like this, that's not the way to go, because it'll damage the frame and scratch it, and you don't want to do that to your bikes. I think this is the best option to go with, because it's not as permanent as those other ones. Like, sure, it'd be up and on the wall, but you have to find those spots, drill them in there, and that's where they're staying, unless you want to make a bunch of holes in the wall of your garage. This one, It's in place. If we decide we're going to clean the garage, sweep it out one day or something like that, we're going to move the bikes, move it outside, sit out there for a little bit, clean it up, and if you find a different space for it, great. I think that does it for our look at the Swagman Park City. I hope this helped.